Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the pimp slap POD, Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. It's last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike Money's killers might even make the evening news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Buzz Force Radio, you know we be pumping!
Last call.
Oh, we go. I pulled a daddy cat. Whoa, let's get it started again. Appreciate everybody dropping in here with us today. Fired up, excited to roll with you guys. We have a lot of card and a little bit of time to get into it. Now, we do have a little later start in the NBA, so we're not as rushed around like we were yesterday. And if you caught the NBA yesterday, you know you don't want to miss it again today. Let's get after it. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. NHL going to pop off for us at 7 p.m., but we've got MLB. We'll pop the show off today with Major League Baseball. Man, I'll tell you, I don't know if it's just because there was no like afternoon action for me or what. Maybe I overanalyzed the card. I'm excited about the card. I just want to get into it and get after it with you guys. So Cheshire, there's my guy Cheshire, says, don't do a recap. Oh, man. What are we going to do? You just want to hear that I went 12-6 yesterday? Or you want to talk about some of these games? I'll tell you what, there's a lot of great calls yesterday. Up and down, the chat was on fire as always. And even the games we didn't play, we had a really good beat on what was going on there. So it was one of those days. Am I still in a mute land? Am I still muted? He says, can't hear you. Am I still muted? Am I talking to myself? Somebody tell me if I'm okay here. Muted or not? Muted or not? Okay, there we go. All right, delay. Everyone's on a delay. I get a message 2 minutes later. Let's go. It's all good. As long as you guys can hear me, I'm not talking to myself here. I don't need to talk to myself. The voices in my head do that, so we're fine. But listen, we've got ourselves a busy card, so let's not waste any time. It's last call. You guys know the deal. 3 things we ask you to do up in here. First and foremost, smash the thumbs up button for us there. Support the community, support the cause. Let them know we're here doing this on the regular. You guys are going to want to grab a pen and paper. Another full card tonight. Lots of plays going on out there. We're going to get to you guys in the chat as well. You're going to want to take notes of what we have going on in business tonight. And last but not least, throw your plays out there in the chat. Let's see what you guys are working on tonight as well. We're all trying to do the same thing. Grow these bankrolls. It's one day at a time. It's one play at a time. And it starts with Major League Baseball tonight. So appreciate you guys rocking. There's my guy, Joe T up in the house. He says, hey, Mikey, what's up? Let's get that cash. First NHL best bets. The Lightning Panthers first period over 1.5. It's his favorite play of the day. They're 23-6 to the over in the first period for Tampa Bay. He also likes the Avs first period over and the Preds first periods over. You guys know my guy Joe T. You see what he's been doing with these first periods over, and they have been smashing and cashing. Marco Carrasco's in the house. Skate Pasa gang. O's bats are going to shine tonight. Welcome back, Kirsten Kerstad. I got him hitting the dinger. He has 10 home runs in 20-some games in AAA. He and Gunnar and Westberg going deep. I like that Westberg look tonight, too. That was kind of one of my longer shots from Dinger Tuesday here. Nicholas Handy's in the house. He likes the Royals tonight. Subhuman Gaucho, my guy, gives us the Subhuman Gaucho hockey play of the day. Dakota Johnson, point plus 135. That's a sharp look out there, man. He's got, I think it's 3 goals in 4 games against these Predators. So should be a lot of fun to see that one unfold. That's the late night hockey special out there. The Futon Bets says KD, 30 plus points. Sprinkle the triple double. What's up, buddy? What's up, Futon Bets, my guy? Let's go. Jason Torres in the house. First half under, gospel on the way. You know it. You know it. We've been firing on that thing. There's no reason to stop now. Darius Moore says, what's the business, family? Let's go Cheshire Cat. My guy out there getting it done. AOD. Got a big card to get into, you guys. Let's rip into it there. I see you guys out there, though. Ron Lofton, Josh Lower 34. Gonna have a big night tonight. My guy Dan from Down Under. There he is. I might have had a couple cocktails last night. Dan and I were having a laugh. It was fun. It was fun for me. Winner's Circle says, hey, yo, Rudy Gobert under 27.5 points and rebounds. And the Mavs money line for our guy, Winner's Circle. Gerald Jones, J Stone 9. Gerald Jones is on the Atlanta Braves run line. That's his best bet. And we got a lot to get into here. Josh says Lakers money line did me dirty. Did we not talk about that game, though? I mean, in all fairness, this is the exact situation that we thought we would see our guy LeBron James in. You know, what happens? He goes out there. He doesn't want to play this year. He's outdone. He goes out there first half. They go out. They win that first half, and then they end up losing. You know what's messed up? Downright screwed up. I had a buddy. We were having some cocktails last night. We were talking about that game, and somehow the Denver Nuggets to come back from a 10-point deficit and win the game popped up at a 420 prop on FanDuel. Wish I'd given that one out there. It was all fun and games until they go out and fucking win the game outright. Let's go. I see Darius Moore, Subhuman Gaucho, Perky Bumps out there in the house. Let's get after it, you guys. We got to do a recap here. That's the currency that we have in this business to keep it moving, but I will keep it moving. It was 12-6 yesterday. You guys know the deal out there. Baseball was pretty good to us. Unfortunately, I went in heavy on that White Sox spot. I thought that was their night to smash, and they got smashed. So the only play I didn't have was the under. That one cashed because they stink. But we got the Philly under 8.5. I mean, the unders killed it last night in Major League Baseball. What was it? 10-1, I believe, was the number. So the Philly under 8.5 cashed. We added the Toronto under 9.5. That cashed. We lost the White Sox first 5 full game. And then Vaughn RBI. No scores, no RBIs is what's going to happen there with Vaughn. That one stunk. Fortunately, they were all big unit plays, so we only lost a unit apiece on those. The San Diego Padres, minus 1.5 cash for us. The Boston Edmonton parlay in the NHL did not, but we got that Hyman goal. How about that? Hyman goal. I mean, he got 3 of them. He went out there and killed it. He slayed. We talked about why he slays. Who got 5 assists last night? Connor McDavid. Who gets the goals when Connor McDavid's getting the assist? Zach Hyman. We'll probably continue to see that trend take hold. The Islanders, first period under 1.5. I walked away to grab a drink. I come back. I see that they scored at the end of that period. Lost that thing. Lost a full game under. At least they lost. That's the solace I have is at least they lost. How about the Vegas Golden Knights? Big W out there. You know what's funny is the same people that were on the Winnipeg Jets the other day were on the Dallas Stars last night. I didn't hear anybody talking Dallas Stars today. I didn't see anybody say, oh, I saw Cheshire Cat talking about Vegas, which is all good. But look, here's the difference. If you played them both, you played Winnipeg and you played Dallas, you're down almost a half a unit. If you played Winnipeg and you played, if you played Colorado and you played Vegas last night, you're up almost a half a unit. That's the difference here. That's how we go plus money hunting. The Cleveland Cavaliers first half under cash. Cleveland under cash. Philly first half under cash. Philly first half plus 2.5 cash. How about that? My boy was sitting there. He picked up a plus 10.5 on the other side of that game out there. Of course, the plus 5 gets the job done as well. Tight game at the end. Questionable with the lack of ability to call a timeout. The Lakers first half plus 4.5 cash. And the Lakers first half under 115.5 cash. It was a nice 7-0 night in the NBA. Rapid fire. It was a good time. Good times were had by all, mostly by me. My bankroll is looking plush, as should yours. And let's dive in to this card tonight. We've got, again, a lot to get into. We don't have a ton of time to do it. We'll start off with Major League Baseball. We'll roll into the NHL, and then we'll bring in our guy, Billy Briz, to give us that NBA breakdown there. Excited to hear what he has to say about these 3 games. As long as he doesn't come in here talking about the over, we're going to be just fine. So we'll see what he does. We'll see what he has to say. I have not had the pleasure of seeing his card as of yet. And it looks like it's about to pour out here. Woo! Gray skies have pulled in, and it is windy and chilly. Oh, no. Perfect conditions to splash these books tonight. Let's get into it, you guys. Appreciate everybody hanging. Smash that thumbs up button if you haven't done so yet. Lots of plays to cover. We will do just that starting right now. We've got the Major League Baseball, 6:40 p.m. Eastern time to pop this card off for us tonight. And I got to say, it's going to be it's a contrarian play if there ever was one tonight. We've got the Philadelphia Phillies, the Cincinnati Reds, and a line that's getting steamed on them Philadelphia Phillies. It makes sense. Them boys got themselves a nice run going right now. The Phillies opened up at minus 118, now minus 130. 82% of the bets and 69% of the cash on the Phillies. If you guys are new here, we've talked about this on the regular. We look at the bets. That's going to be kind of consistent of all the plays, all the parlays, all the teasers, all the props. That's the bets. Smaller bets, smaller tickets, long leg parlays. Then we look at the cash, the money, to see what is going on with the bigger bettors, the ones that can come in there and potentially influence the line. And then after we look at all of that, what we want to see is how are the books reacting. And in this case here, tons of cash pouring in on the over. Started at 8.5. It's moved to 9. 85% of the bets and 88% of the cash on the over. Interesting spot there. You know, I looked at this thing and I thought to myself, how am I going to go and attack this game? What's the best angle for me to go and leverage this thing here? I hate to do it, especially in a hot streak, but I'm fading away on these Phillies. I wanted to take the under. I was back and forth all afternoon. Do I take the under? Do I take the Reds? Under, Reds, under, Reds. I ultimately decided on the Reds here. The thought being that 7-0 final yesterday, if the Reds had scored any of those runners that got stranded on base, that game was going over the total. So the road Phillies right now are 7-0 to the under. I believe it's 8 going back to the preseason. They're just an under team on the road. They're hitting 50 points less when it comes to road batting versus home batting. And again, we talked about it being hot. But Andrew Abbott's the guy in this opinion here from your boy here. The Reds are 7-1 straight up, 7-1 on the over off a game facing a lefty if the line's shorter than plus 120, which it is in this case. The Phillies 0-7 if the line's longer than the previous game and longer than a minus 200. So we do have some of those intersection points, and it's a double whacker for me here. We're going first 5 full game. I want the first 5 in this case, specifically because I did mention yesterday, little apprehension around the bullpen and what could potentially happen with Cincinnati. The first 5, however, is plus 115. So I see 115, 114, 110s, 108s out there as well. I'm sorry, that's the full game, right? Full game plus 115. The first 5 sitting at plus 120 spot out there now for this first 5. And again, I'm just looking to get a fade in on this Phillies team in this position here. Just line functionality kind of determines this. This felt a little bit like there's another game today that we're going to talk about as well in Seattle, where the line functionality just doesn't quite match up with the expectation. And I'm just not a big Sanchez guy here. So as much as I wanted to play that under, we do have 11 miles an hour of wind. I do expect the other component there that I didn't get a chance to talk on is the second game after a star player is out. We know that Harper trying to go out there and become a pop. He's on paternity leave. They found a way to close the gap for him yesterday, mostly by Stott. Unfortunately, my look from earlier in the day on Trey Turner getting the job done did not come through, but Stott was a beast, man. He's plus 208 today, though, on the RBI game here, and a lot of these Phillies are priced in that 150 to 200 range. I think it's a bad spot for this Philadelphia team today. Streak comes to a screeching halt, and then we move forward out there. What up? I see Nasty Nate in the house there. Cheshire says the Clippers. Nah, what? Perky and Cheshire Cat going back and forth. That's a lot of fun. Man, Bear Pig says Canucks anyone. We will talk about that game. The only game I don't have action in the NHL is that Rangers game. I don't know. I mean, if it was me, if you were looking for a play, if you need to have a play in that Rangers game after I bust out this 14-game card for you guys, I would take Matt Rempe to score a goal. It's like plus 850. That guy's a beast, man. You see what he said at the end of the game after he scored? And he said, they said, you get a little extra juice with your family in the stands. It was the first game that his mom was able to come to at the Garden. He said, I stay juiced. I don't need to get juiced. And that was, I'm paraphrasing it, but that was a great take from that young man. Plus 850 if you want action in that game. That's the way I would take it. But we are in the Major League Baseball roll right now. So let's keep moving down the pike here. What do we got? What do we got for this next game on deck? We have ourselves that Seattle, Texas game. I just referenced the aforementioned Seattle and Texas spot. Interesting spot with this Texas team here. Again, feels a lot to me like that Milwaukee Brewers spot yesterday. The Texas Rangers, everybody knows who they are. World Series champions out there trying to defend the crown, kind of going through their own struggles, trials, and tribulations right now. Meanwhile, what we've got with this game here is a line that opened up at minus 115 for Seattle. 54% of the bets and 60% of the cash are coming in on this home Texas Rangers team. It went from a minus 105 to a plus 100 on the Texas Rangers. Money coming in on them, yet they're making it more attractive to bet the game. Then we look at the total. It started at 9. It's frozen at 9. In fact, it's kind of juiced to the under. The over 9 is minus 105. 92% of the bets and 92% of the cash on this over. And, we've got Dave Dunning going, and we've got Logan Gilbert going on the bump for the Seattle Mariners. Both these guys kind of, Dunning to me, I don't know if the jury's not out. I mean, it's back. This guy's not in his first season here, but 3.91 ERA. This Texas team's kind of struggling until Nate Lowe gets rolling. This Texas team and the bats, I know a lot of you guys are getting a bath on the Seager thing as well. Time to let it go for a little bit until he gets some consistency going. I'm looking at this game here, and I think this is a great spot for Seattle to come out there. You look at the number, they're minus 115. The thing that Seattle had going against them was their bats were a little sluggish at home. They did finish off that series against the Cincinnati Reds with a 3-1 win, then a 5-1 win. They go into Coors, they bust them up 7-0. They take the L2-1, and then they follow it back up with a 10-2. So the only caveat, this is the first game after a Coors Field opportunity. But to me, there's also variables in play. There's counter narratives out there that make this one kind of attractive to me. First of all, the Mariners have gone 25-13 when Logan Gilbert starts in the division. When he's playing a divisional opponent, they're out there 25-13 with this guy out there getting the job done. They've gone 17-7 when they won his last start. So there's a lot of momentum going. They get the bats and the run support with Logan Gilbert. Then on the other side of things, we got a little after. We talked about this in the NHL, so I'm happy to have found a couple of these in Major League Baseball now. It's the after factor, right? We talked about in the NHL, after a team plays in Vegas and they go back home if they're the favorite. Well, how about this one? After a series, when they were the dog in a game of the first game of the series in the Atlanta Braves, they're 4-24 when they go back out from that series. So a dog in the first game of the series against the Braves does not historically do well to start off the next series. 4-24 in those spots out there. There's a fade of the Texas Rangers for me. I'll gladly fade these guys here. I think this number tells you a lot about what you need to know with this game. And you look at Texas. I know I just kind of shouted down the scoring prowess that was the Seattle Bats right now. You got a 1-2 team in their last 3 games against that Atlanta Braves team. It's a long road trip too. So this is the first game back for this Texas Rangers team. Lots of reason for me to go and fade these boys. I'm going to take Seattle in a suspiciously low divisional line spot here. Albeit this number has dropped a little bit now. Yeah, we see a minus 112 that's out there. I locked it in at minus 115. I'm just going to keep it there. I see the minus 112 at Bet Rivers. There's minus 116s, 118s, 120s. The favorable opportunity here, though, is the book that does not have the best line is, the book with the best line is not FanDuel. You guys know we struggle in those spots, and I don't want anything to do with it when we see FanDuel's hanging the best number. So fortunately, we are in a good position there. Let's roll onward and upward. Speaking of course, let's take a look. I was out there hanging out on Ramon Scott's stream earlier this morning, and he was talking about the Steam alert. He got a Steam alert on this Colorado Rockies team. I've gotten a Steam alert last night on the Colorado Rockies team. This game got banged twice in the world of Steam earlier today. It took them from plus 145 all the way down to plus 126. 89% of the bets and 93% of the action, cash, are on the San Diego Padres. But the line has dropped 40 full cents in that position. 40 full cents. Then we look at the total. The total, 93% of the bets, 89% of the cash on the under. That has dropped a full run as well. And I'm doing it. I'm doing it. We got some weird line activity going on here. If you bust out and you look at what we've seen on the other side of things from the San Diego Padres, we've got, from a pitching perspective, Michael King, 3.33s, 2-1 on the season. Man, his last game, he had 10 strikeouts there. He punched out 10 dudes. He still took they lost the game 1-0. There was no run support for this guy. He's got a 3.33 ERA, struggling to get run support. I don't love Feltner. There's nothing to love about this guy with a 5.06 ERA. 1-2 on the season for him. I'm not sure what the hell's going on with this steam on the Colorado Rockies side of things, but I want the under in this game. And I'll tell you, when you look at the under specifically for Colorado, after they get busted up and they're the home dog that next game, it's 36-65 to the under. So 65 unders, 36 overs. That's a good enough as almost a 2-to-1 edge there for us to take advantage here in that 60 percentile for this under. And we've seen the line drop. I wish it was 9.5, or I'm sorry, I wish it was 10.5. I know there were 10s this morning when I was looking at it, scratching my head. It's down to 9.5. I don't expect it to go any lower, but we're still seeing a 4.6 to a 4.4 type of situation. Might even be a good live bet spot. So keep your eyes open for this thing to get a live bet opportunity. If they do pop some runs in there early, you can certainly take advantage of maybe when these bullpens get in there that this game kind of gets back under control. But I expect it to be a game under. I got the under 9.5. And, from a juice perspective, because it's dropped at this point, it's reasonable. The juice that we see right now, minus 110s. I looked at the first 5. I really wanted to get in on that first 5. This line dropped from 5.5 to 4.5, though. To me, it feels like we could see that 5. That 5 would seem to me to be the optimum situation because then, depending on when we see that 5, if it's like around the third inning, we'd probably see an 11.5 or a 12.5 on the full total for this game to go back in there and live bet it again. So that is, in fact, where we're going and getting after it. And then last but not least, I got to give you guys this little parlay action here. It just looked too good for me not to take advantage of it. Maybe it's square. Maybe it's hip to be square. I don't know, but I'm telling you this one. The Dodgers, the Minnesota Twins, and the Atlanta Braves are 3 spots I wanted to jump all over. By the way, you'll see it's plus 175 in this 3-leg parlay. If you took all those teams on the run line in a parlay, it's plus 465. So maybe I did that. Maybe your boy did that out there. But I'll tell you this one. Teams off a multi-run win as a dog are 4-47. That's the spot that the Nationals find themselves in today. Multi-run win as a dog, 4-47 supports the LA Dodgers. Then we look at strong favorites, 33-1. If they didn't lose the last game by 1 run, that supports that Minnesota Twins team. They won that game by 7 runs out there. That's why they're that strong favorite. And then last but not least on the Atlanta side, I saw a couple of you guys dropping that Atlanta Braves in there at minus 1.5. Max Fried is 11-4 on the run line versus a lefty if the total's 8 or more in that spot. So Trevor Rogers is that lefty. Oh, by the way, Trevor Rogers is 0-14 on a line longer than a minus 155. So as long as Trevor Rogers isn't a medium to large size favorite, he's 0-14 in every other spot out there. The Marlins are that team there. They started off the season so piss poor. They had nowhere to go but up. Now they've strung together a bunch of wins out there. I just don't see the universe in which they're going to give a difficult time to this Atlanta Braves team. At home, it's the 3rd most successful offense on their home field. And we got a number that's juiced, 95% of the bets, 98% of the cash. I mean, the minus 1.5 is minus 120. You guys know me with the odds and the juice. You'd have to go to minus 2.5. I don't want to go to the 2.5 this early in the season, though, given that they're at home and potentially we lose that bottom of the 9th inning bat. So, anyhow, that's the 3-legger in the MLB. It's the Dodgers, the Twins, and the Braves at plus 175. If you want to run line them, all those trends I shared with you all do support a run line opportunity. That's a nice little plus 465, too, if you're feeling frisky out there. But sure, go play them individually if that's what you want to do as well. Minus 1.5. Again, they're all supporting. They're all buy positions. The only one that I really liked on the run line, though, in this case, was the LA Dodgers because they're on the road, because they're coming back in that try to bounce back position out there, and they've got Patrick Corbin on the bump. So if I was going to lay alternate run lines, it would probably be in that Dodgers game where I took them up to 2.5 or 3.5 to make it worth your while. Right now, minus 1.5 is minus 135. Let's go. Old E says, at Nasty Nick, can you see Justin McCalvy's POD? And then he says he didn't see it. So those boys are trying to figure it out in the chat. Big Scott 510 in the house there. What up, Big Scott? He says Mika Zibanejad goal plus 180 in that Rangers game out there. Not mad at that spot. I looked at that guy. Justin says I posted my POD. Mike ain't say shit. Yeah, I did. Didn't I cover it? Didn't I comment on it? Let me go back and take a look here. I swear I commented on it. The Stacks POD, didn't I? Let's get back there. Let me scroll back up. I do want to recognize our guy, Justin, coming here to give it. Yeah. Yordan Alvarez. There he is. The plus 115 Stacks POD, my guy. Going big game hunting with this guy, Yordan Alvarez, at plus 115. My bad. I didn't mean to miss you there. Let's go, guys. It's in there. We got it. Lee Davis in the house. Ricky Bobby says Alvarez RBI is the Stacks play. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm not mad at that play whatsoever. I think that you've got a situation, between Texas and Houston right now. There's a lot of question marks on what the hell's going on out there. But Let's go. We got him, Justin. I see you, my guy. Appreciate you rocking with us. Let's move into he says the third time. My bad. I missed it. I was jumping in. I got thrown off of a kilter with the mute button here, Justin. It wasn't the smoothest takeoff that I've ever had here. So forgive me, but let's go on. Let's talk about the NHL, you guys. 3 games in the NHL. If you know, you know. Maybe you already know what's going on in this game. I just told you this Capitals Rangers spot. I don't know. The Capitals don't belong here. The Rangers should beat the shit out of them yet again. They're going back to Lindgren. They've got Shesterkin. It should be the exact matchup that we saw the last game, and the Capitals don't stand much of a chance. The only way I would play that game is that Rempe goal. I'm not involved. I don't want to get involved in that. There's just nothing in it for me. But the play that there is something in it for me on here, let's look at 7:30 Eastern. We got the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Florida Panthers here, boys and girls, rocking and rolling. The Tampa Bay Lightning coming in this thing, they're sitting there at a plus 150. You know, when we look at this game and we look at these goaltenders, I still haven't seen the official confirmation. It looks like it's going to be Vasilevsky. It should be Vasilevsky. I mean, you know, he played well. He didn't go out there. I mean, yeah, you know, Florida played difficult. The thing about that last game here, we're in game 2 of this series. Tampa couldn't get any offensive puck control time. But what they did is they pivoted. They said, screw the puck control time. Let's just physically abuse this team. And the game, expecting the series to go 7. I think that was the motive that they had out there. You look at their shots. What they have, like 14 shots on goal in that situation. Steve G says it's Vasilevsky versus SpongeBob. That's what I figured it was. I still don't see the official. I don't know why it's not confirmed, but whatever. It is what it is. We appreciate the update. My guy, Steve G. And again, I think this is that spot where, yeah, they got beat up on the scoreboard, but I think this is an opportunity for the bounce back. And we've got 2 trends that follow this mold tonight. When you out-hit your opponent the last game and lost, you're 23-13 in that next game. That was to wear him down, beat him up, abuse him, and then go out there that following game and pick up the win. I think this is a 7-game series. I think it was smart for these guys to go out there. Lanes get plugged up. They just weren't able to go out there and open the ice up like they wanted to. So they pivoted. They said, screw it. Let's physically abuse this team. And physically abuse this team, they did. Now we see plus 150 is the best number that's out there. We see 146s, 145s out there as well. So line shot for the couple of cents, but I like Tampa Bay in that first game against Florida. And this number to me is just a dramatic overreaction to, that previous game. I know you look at the scoreboard, you see it was a 3-2 finish. It wasn't like it was a 7-1 bust them up, blow them out. Huge course correction in this spot here to make this thing a plus 150 spot. You know, we looked at that last game. I know they were kind of sitting in the same situation, but to go out there, if you look at it, it was plus 155 the last game. Now it's plus 150. So even the books are kind of saying, despite it being a huge overreaction, they're still kind of saying, look, this number's getting just a little bit tighter. So I don't know who's putting their money on the Florida Panthers. I get it. You know, it's a big team. They should go out there and win. I think it's the bounce back spot. I do expect this to be a 7-game series. It's the Battle of Florida. We see that a lot with these 2 teams that do face each other. They play common opponents back and forth nights. So in terms of comparably situated teams, these 2 meet the criteria here. And at plus 150, the number doesn't value out against what the opportunity is for this team. I like Stamkos to get in there and get involved. Kucherov to score goals around the plus 140 mark. I think all those guys are very viable opponents there. Of course, Mac Chuck, Sam Reinhart. But if we can shut down that one particular line here, then Tampa Bay Lightning goes out there and gets the job done. Cheshire says, I won't be betting the Kings, LOL. Yeah, there's nothing to bet there on those. Remember when everybody said they were winning the Stanley Cup? Same people said that Dallas is winning the Stanley Cup. But let's go on because everybody's talking about this next game and who's going to potentially go out there and advance towards the Stanley Cup here. We got this 9:30 Eastern start. It's the Colorado Avalanche and the Winnipeg Jets. You guys already know where I am with this game. You already know. The fact of the matter is here, they're going back to Georgiev on the Colorado Avalanche side of things. I was a little surprised. I thought Annunen would be the guy, but there's that Twitter overreaction out there. 7-6 final. 7-6 final. I get it. You guys that were on the Jets, you want to celebrate your victory. We'll give it to you. You earned it. But there was some fugazi bullshit in that game, and it was when they score that goal, Lowry gets that goal at a 4-3 situation. That was like the backbreaker. That thing fluttered around, and it went over the line and then came back. That's true. That's what happened. Look at it. You can double check. It barely went over the entire line to be a goal. That was a 4-3 game before that spot. It was a 7-6 finish. So Hellebuck going back in there, going to start again despite getting shot. 40 saves on 46 shots. This game has all the makings to go over. I like our guy Joe T's comments about this first period being over as well. The last 3 times the Winnipeg Jets played Colorado, they scored goals galore out there. I think the home ice is cute. The whiteout was fun. It's time to get back to business here. Colorado is not flinching and going back to Georgiev instead of Anadin. So that tells you everything you need to know about where they're at with their confidence in this thing here. 7 goals on 23 shots. They need this guy to bounce back if they're going to move forward in this conference. Or they can't just immediately put him on the bench and roll with the backup goaltender. So I think this is a good bounce back spot for these guys. This is that second game that meets the criteria. We got a couple spots in this one here. First of all, you out-hit your opponent the previous game and you lost. You're 23-13. That's the same trend that applied to Tampa Bay just a minute ago that we talked about. How about this one, though? You lost, and now you're a road favorite. You're 92-49 in those spots if you lost your last game, and now you're a road favorite out there. 92-49, and this line is moving in that direction. We haven't spent a lot of time talking about line movement throughout the year in the NHL. No reason to change course with that now, but you see it did open at -105. It's now -120. You had a -115 Winnipeg Jets team as the favorite, now +107. Give me this Colorado Avalanche team to go out there, exact their revenge. Unfortunately, it is now -120. That's fine. The nickel of juice doesn't push me off this side one way or the other. That's going to be game number 2, and we're going to roll on. Steve G says, I hope you're right, Mikey. Go Avs. Yeah, me too. Me too, I hope I'm right there, but I do feel like this is that bounce back opportunity for him. So team's got way too much, Cheshire Cat says Georgiev's a sieve. Look, man, Hellebuck played even worse, surprisingly, than he saw. Well, I don't know about worse, but he did let up 6 goals. It's a big gray area. How many times can a team that scores low, a low-scoring team, go out there and find a way to do it again here? They scored 7. They needed every one of them to get the job done, and they needed some fuckery with that goaltending reviewer, that challenge there and goal called in that third period. I don't know that lightning strikes the same place twice here. I'm going Colorado Avalanche. We will roll on. Justin McKelvey says Jets, Jets, Jets. Well, let's go on to this third game in the NHL, guys. It is the late night bopper here. It's the Nashville Predators and the Vancouver Canucks. Breaking news out of Vancouver. We got some issues with injury and Thatcher Demko again. This guy's been beaten up the second half of this season. He's finding it hard to get himself healthy enough to lace up his own skates. And, we looked at this Nashville team the last time out. I was big on this Nashville spot. I thought this team, certainly was competitive. We saw that they were rolling hard at the end of the season. And, we look at Vancouver. Vancouver kind of peaked early in the year. I was definitely surprised. Now, I'll give this one a discount as well. They won this game 4-2. There was 2 goals scored in 15 seconds to start that third period that got that Vancouver team back on top. The Nashville Predators owned them for 2 full periods out there. So for what it's worth, Nashville did hold them on shots as well. They were diving in front. They were playing selfish hockey. They blocked 21 total shots allowed in that game against Vancouver there. And Saros, I think Saros is the better guy, especially now when you look at this backup situation out there. That's a bad spot to be in. The other thing that concerned me when you're looking at goaltending in this case here is what happens if this guy gets lit up? Who's going back in? Who's going back in the goal? It's Casey DeSmith right now. You're going to put a hurt Thatcher Demko back in there? I mean, I think they got to dress Demko. I don't know what the backup looks like beyond him, an AHL goaltender. I didn't see that they called anybody up from goal, but yeah, I think this is an opportunity again for the bounce back situation. I don't know that this series goes 7. I feel like it goes 6 and we see the Nashville Predators advance, but we fall in love with the Vancouver Canucks early in the season because they had such a prolific power play. That has been effectively neutralized now. They've got goaltending challenges right off of game number 1. And if it wasn't for that 15-second kind of mental letdown, Nashville Predators would have walked out of there with that first game. So I like it. I like going back to them again. It's plus 108. Subhuman says, I like the Preds at the dog price for the series. That's a great look as well, my guy. I think that's a sharp eye from our guy, Subhuman Gaucho and Lee Davis. Yeah, I do like Preds to win the series. I think it's a good spot for these guys to take advantage. And because of how these prices are situated right now, if things go awry early, meaning, something happens either this game or next game where Vancouver takes a series lead, I expect this is where we tie it up. It's that next game going back to Nashville. I can't see Nashville losing that game. But if somehow, they do get into a squirrely position and they fall behind in the series, this isn't going to be a situation where Vancouver goes up to a minus 180. So you got great hedge opportunity out there if Vancouver starts to pull away with that series, which I don't expect to happen. I think this one gets evened up tonight as well. Look at what we saw yesterday, minus the Islanders, mentally shitting the bed and rolling over for that 5-3 finish. We did see Toronto bounces back. And I think that's the motive here. We saw the entire weekend, the home favorites were kicking the ass and taking names. Yeah, Steve G, I don't disagree that he's a decent backup. And he's gotten plenty of road mileage here because he had to play the second half of that season. But it's a no-go for me. I see our guy Barney in there. Barney's dropping some college lacrosse action. He got himself a little Bryant money line, minus 115. Says, don't say I didn't. Ha! Let's go. Let's move on to the NBA. I know we're all excited about this thing here, and we're going to bring on our ninja of the hardwood here on Tuesdays. It's Billy Briz. Let's go, Billy.
What up, man?
We're cashing, man. We're kicking ass. We're taking names. It's always great to see you again. Had some fun hanging out I might have had a couple too many cocktails last night, but I was having fun doing it. I believe I ran across your path here, but let's talk about the NBA. How's the playoffs been treating you? What's going on in the old playoff realm?
Playoffs have been good, man. Heating up. My Sixers haven't looked too good, but at least they covered, right?
That they did. That was a weird finish to that game. I don't know if the timeout situation would have mattered or not, but it was kind of interesting. Even LeBron James was commenting on the lack of ref support that they've gotten. I mean, they're going to go petition the league. Kind of sounds like you're crying over spilt milk, but that's okay. Go ahead. Pub Sport, our guy T says the Knicks in 4. I don't know, man. Joel Embiid said they're going to win this series. He ain't scared. He ain't scared, Billy. That's what you want out of your league. He's going to take it all. Let's get into this, though. Should be a nice night. We've got 7:30s where things pop off. Let's see what's doing in the chat there. Cheshire says, Gorgiev lubes up. Barney gave us that college lacrosse spot. On that heat, says 2-goal lead early payout at Nashville. Hell yeah, take that shot there, man. That's either that one or Tampa. I don't know about the Tampa one, though. I think that's going to be a tight physical battle. Nathan Cerna says best bet is the Orioles money line, minus 155. Too many angel humpers out there. Kelly V's in the house. What up, Kelly V? She says, that Steve is DeSmith in net. It does look like it is DeSmith. There's been injury from Thatcher Demko. And Old E says, what up, Briz? What is up, Briz, out there? Old E says, lost 20-point lead, blames the refs. Ha, ha, ha. I don't know, man. That was kind of what I expected there. Yeah, I think to that point, I saw somebody posted a meme on Twitter today, and they were like crying about the fouls. The only foul is you dumped a 20-point lead in the playoffs and lost the game. That was the double-digit spot too. That's now a double-digit consecutive losses for LBJ against them Denver Nuggets out there. But we got some battles tonight, Billy. I'm excited to hear your card and breakdown. Of course, you guys know the deal for me. First half unders, full game unders are in play across the board for me, but we're going to talk about these games because there are some props and some sides that I want to get involved with here, and I'm very eager to hear Billy help sway me on the Suns and T-Wolves game. 7:30 Eastern start. Minnesota hosting the Phoenix Suns, and we got a line that's dropping. It went from 4s down to 2.5s with 49% of the bets, but 64% of the money on the Timberwolves. Interesting spot there to see kind of a reverse line movement. Then we've got the total open at 213.5. Of course it's dropping. It's the NBA playoffs here. The refs are hiding the whistles, letting them play physical on defense. This line's dropped 3 points, despite 75% of the bets and 82% of the cash on the over. Billy Briz, we got plenty of time to get into this one here. I want to know from you, do Kevin Durant get the job done, or does Karl Anthony Townsend's squad come out there and neutralize the big three for this Phoenix Suns team? What say you? How are we getting paid?
Yeah, we're looking to back Phoenix here in this spot tonight in a nice little road bounce back spot. This is a short turnaround spot, but it seems to kind of favor the Suns here after they got embarrassed in game 1 since February 1st. Phoenix ATS 10-12, but 10-12, 5-7 on the road, but 3-1 as an underdog with 1 day of rest. While Minnesota, they kind of seem to get fat and happy in these spots since February 1st, 8-11 overall, 2-8 at home, 6-9 as favorites with 1 day's rest. Long story short, looking to back the Suns here in this spot. A lot of things happen in game one that probably won't repeat in game two. Like they shot 42% at the rim, which is like 0 percentile. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they clean up the turnovers and those layups and those jumpers that they missed inside the paint end up going in. I like the Suns here in this spot, plus the 3.
I like it. You know, you look at this Timberwolves game, 120-95 in that first game of the playoffs. It was the second game of the well, I don't want to say back-to-back. They had like 6 days in between it, but they just played the Suns. And they lost to him out there. So it was almost an exact 125-106. It was almost an exact situation out there. Kind of knew what to expect. We see that more often than not. That team that's playing that second time bounces back from that loss and the win. Now you got the third time in a row. I think the Timberwolves are frauds, in my opinion. They're scams, Billy. They're scam artists. They've fooled everybody this season with this glorified record that they have out there. But the line's dropping for a reason now. I think you got to get it while it's hot. I like that plus 3. You know, you see me, I'm rolling these first half unders, full game unders. I'm still riding with this pony here. You know, I do have a side picked out in one of the later games here, but for me, this just felt like why not just keep sticking with it here? We see that these teams are barely getting to that threshold. We have a low number for a reason. There's no reason for me to change my tune. What do you got? A plus 3? Is that the number that you locked in, or did you go money line?
Yeah, a little plus 3 action here. Well, 3.5, but that numbers came down. I only see plus 3s across the board.
Suns plus 3. I'll tell you this: the Suns are 6-0 coming off a 19+ point loss. How about that? They definitely bounced back well. They're 12-0 when they scored no more than 101 points the previous game and didn't win by 10 points out there. So this does scream bounce back spot. That third time in a row for a team. I like that Suns look. I think I'm going to tell you on that one. I haven't pulled the trigger on it.
With your first half unders, I would just go for a gamble and sprinkle a little bit on the money line
For the Suns?
Yeah, because I would imagine the first half under juices are somewhere between -110, -112.
Yep. So full game here, I'm looking at plus 130s are the number that I can wrangle out of there on this thing here. I do think the Suns are. I think they get the job done. To me, Juggler 23 says Suns money line. Fuck the points out there for our guy Juggler 23. I like what you guys are saying for me. I'm gonna have to make a note. I got 730 for that one, so I will be going that direction. I think the bubble is about to burst with these home favorites getting the job done there. And first game of the playoffs, especially on the weekend, you know, those places were loud. That was raucous. They were all ready to go here, but now we're getting back into business. These teams have felt each other out. I think they know what to expect. For me, the first half under 108.5 official spot there. And the full game is 211. There's still a 212 out there, actually. 212 at -110. So we'll take the 212 at -110. Don't need to get hooked here, but I don't expect it to be a factor. So let's roll on, Billy. We got ourselves moving down the line. The Pacers and the Bucks with a line that opened at 2.5 has dropped to 1.5. So we've got 1 point of droppage here, but we have kind of a pros versus Joe situation. We've got the 75% of the bets on the Pacers, 74% of the cash on the Bucks. And it looks like the books are more concerned about the bets than they are the cash in this case here. 66,000 ticket count. Yet we've got this thing dropped from +2.5 to +1.5. And the totals dropped now 4 points. We got 223s out there from the original 227.5. 65% of the bets and 67% of the cash on the over. Amazing to see kind of reverse line movement on essentially both sides of this thing here. I think the narrative for this game has a lot to do with what Halliburton does, because where the hell was he that last game, Billy? You tell me. What happened that last game to Halliburton? Are his feelings hurt? Is he butthurt? Or is he going to come out here and try to battle back?
It was Dame time. This isn't my favorite game on the card, I would say, though. This is one that I can kind of see go either way, man. I kind of leaned towards Milwaukee to win the series in Milwaukee game one. The only value I really saw was in the player prop section. Had to go back to the well here with Bobby Portis over 17.5 points at -110. He had 15 points in game one, shot 7 for 15, but 0 3-pointers made. His first half usage was really dominated by Damian Lillard. He accounted for 51% of the team's first half points. But in the second half, the Pacers made some adjustments, and it forced a lot more shot opportunities for the Milwaukee Bigs. Portis had a 42.4% usage rating, but he picked up 5,000 15 minutes. So shot 3 for 9 in the second half. The prop was right there. If he doesn't foul out, he covers the prop. So we went with Bobby Portis here over 17.5 points.
I like the Pacers in the spot. I think this is a tough game, that last spot out there. The Bucks found a way to get the job done, no question about it. 109-94. I was looking at this one. The Bucks are 0-9 overall, 0-9 straight up and against the spread when they're not a double-digit dog, coming off a 7+ point win as a dog. So essentially, when they busted up their opponent as a dog, they're coming back out there and they're not stringing 2 and 2 together. I'm rolling with this +1.5. I like that the line's moved in that direction. The only question I was debating is, how am I getting involved on this first half? Because of course we know the situation. I don't have them. I was looking to see how these lines were moving because I want to just kind of keep rolling with this first half under and the under spot in general. But I still think about these two teams. Like, they were getting lines at like 250 in the regular season now. And I don't know if there's enough to say that that they shouldn't get back there despite that last game having kind of that lower score. I'm going to take the first half under. The first half under 109 for me. The other thing that concerns me is if Halliburton does decide to get back into the gear and if he goes out there and puts up a 60 spot, hopefully it's in the second half, because I think that 223.5 could be compromised here, especially with the low number dropping. Let's just say these guys don't go to overtime and battle this thing out deep in this case here. I don't know if that's necessarily in the cards, but
I would say greasy theory here is there's 2 TNT games and 1 NBA TV game. I would imagine they wouldn't want the NBA TV game to be the more competitive game because not a lot of people have access to NBA TV. It's not like it's a popular channel like TNT. So one of those two sides are going to be a blowout in this one. That's my greasy theory projection. That's why I kind of stayed off the game.
I always like your tinfoil hat philosophies here, your theorem around which of these games is going to make the most
impact.
It
last night, the early TNT game was a very interesting one, and the late one was an interesting one. But the NBA TV game was the one that you sat in the corner that was a 15-point blowout the whole entire time.
I like it. I like the theory. I think the Pacers get the job done. I think we've seen enough of these road teams. I know we're talking about the Suns in the dog spot in that last game, but it feels to me like there's this little bounce back trigger opportunity here for these Pacers. The boys just went cold, man. You look at this thing, Siakam, the double doubles on a lot of these guys for the Pacers are kind of priced out of the realm as well. So it just kind of looks like they're concerned that the Pacers find a way to get the job done. I'll go with the first half. I'm going to stay with that first half under train. I'm going to back off that full game though. For me, that might be a live bet trigger for me, but 10 p.m. Billy, the Mavericks and the Clippers, the big one, the entire fucking planet was on the Dallas Mavericks last game. Everybody. That was the biggest book liability over the weekend. I saw the report for 3 straight days saying everybody just keeps hammering the Mavericks. And lo and behold, the Clippers find a way to get the job done. Kawhi, the squad decides to get rolling here. We got 76% of the bets, 44% of the cash on the Dallas Mavericks. The line's kind of moved to a pick'em. So a little bit of movement, I guess, depending on where the line is. But the total's dropping from 219.5 to 216.5. Only 13% of the bets on the over, but 76% of the cash on this over. Yet it's dropped 3 points in this game. And I guess the big question is the injury status here. Is Kawhi playing out there? He's still questionable. I don't know if you've heard anything about that or not, Billy, but Kawhi's a big deal. I think the line movement suggests he's going to probably sit this one out, would be my guess here, if it's gone from a -1 to a pick'em. But I haven't seen anything official. What have you heard?
From the clip that I saw at shoot around today, he looked ready to go. He was in the shorts. He was in the practice jersey. He was walking in, dribbling the basketball to the huddle. I think he's going to give it a go tonight, hence why the line kind of has yo-yoed from, I think it was Mavericks -150 last night, and it's gone down to -105. So we went through 0. I definitely think if I had to give a percentage, I would say 75%. I think Kawhi is going to give it a go out here tonight. So I think that kind of gives us a good opportunity to kind of wait on this number a little bit. If Kawhi gets officially ruled in, I think we're going to start seeing 2.5s, 3s on the board. And I kind of like Dallas here in this spot. Dallas bounce back spot here. Seems like they just got overwhelmed too early in that game. Los Angeles just had the right, I would say just the right game plan for game one. I think these road teams kind of bounce back a little bit here today. But if I had to say like my confidence level, I would say Phoenix is number one. Number two would be Dallas. And then number three would be Milwaukee on the money line. So I would probably late move on Dallas, but I don't want to pull the trigger too early because I think the number only goes up, not down.
I like that call. I like that call a lot, especially if you're expecting him to be in. Yeah, you're going to get yourself – that's going to be the difference between a basket at the end of the game, right? You get yourself that second basket. Could be the difference, even if I do think they're live dogs in the spot. I mean, it's not much of a dog situation for them, but I do like them to bounce back. The Clippers, I don't know what the hell happened that last game, man. They found a gear 109.97. They put it down on them boys. Was really surprised to see the outcome of that. I mean, gladly cashed those first half unders, but still, I think you're right. I think the play for the long term of this game here is to kind of give it the wait and see approach. I already locked in the first half under and the full game under. I feel like during the primetime football season where we were like, oh, the under is the way to go in that spot. I'm sure this will regress. It's a 63% trend over the last 3 years, but it's hitting at like a 90% clip right now. So we're going to ride it while it's hot, Billy. And then I love your call about waiting on this thing to see what happens here. Potentially locking
it gets officially ruled in. I'll probably be on the Dallas Mavericks full game, but I will be sprinkling that Dallas race to 20, not the first quarter, but race to 20. I mean, they only had 8 points in the first quarter in game one. Kawhi Leonard comes back, kind of like that star player theory. It might take the team a quarter or two to get used to the star player kind of being back in the lineup. So I'll be looking at Dallas race to 20 if Kawhi is ruled in officially.
I like it. Some interesting ways to attack. So I've got you with Bobby Portis over 17.5 points and the Phoenix Suns at +3.
Yes, right. The card for right now. If we do move on the Dallas one, I'll tweet it out.
All right. You guys know the deal. Follow my guy, Billy, at Getting Bills on X. And when he goes live, when he pops out the plays out there, gives you his UFC breakdowns, you're going to want to see what my guy's got going on. Speaking of which, Billy, tell us what's going on with you up this coming week here. We got a big weekend of fights coming up.
Big weekend of fights. UFC Vegas 91 here. Make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe button here on the channel here at Pub Sports Radio. We got a lot of videos leading up to the live stream on Saturday. And then no PFL action this week, unfortunately. PFL is off to its little hiatus until next. I think until June. We get a couple Bellator Championship Series cards before we get PFL back again. But Dana White Contender Series is around the corner, and we're going to be right here on Last Call, breaking it down a couple hours before the fights here on Tuesday.
That should be fun. Yeah, I think that Bellator is fighting in Paris, if I'm not mistaken, right? The middle of May, I think they got a big battle lined up there. Always fun. That Paris crowd gets riled. They're riling out right now. There's havoc in the streets out there. They can't wait for that fight to start out there. But Billy, great job today. Excited to see how this thing works. We'll look for your follow-up on X there with the Kawhi news, depending on how you may attack the game. And appreciate you coming in rocking with us, my guy. Short card here, short, sweet, and to the point today. We're looking to attack and get that cash, man. I appreciate you as always, my guy.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mikey, for having me on. Shouts to everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys blaze them up, roll them up, drink them up tonight because it's going to be a great night in sports.
Sure as shit will be. Appreciate all you guys rocking with us as well. Cheshire Cat, Josh Lauer, Big Scott 510, Kelly V up in the house, Sancho, Ross Pitts. Ross Pitts says he's doing a 2-team parlay under Suns Wolves, under Mavs Clip. I like it. I like it. Says what a great card today from our guy Sancho, Philly Eagle Flyer, Juggler 23 up in the house, Jay Peasy. You guys are awesome, man. Without you guys, we truly have nothing. We appreciate you coming in, hanging out. On your way out the door, smash that thumbs up. And if you're watching us over there on X, migrate to YouTube. Subscribe to the Pub Sports Radio channel. We got all kinds of things in the pipeline, all kinds of shows, all kinds of live streams, all kinds of chances for you guys to hear the breakdowns from our group here and watching our chat continue to grow sharing their best looks as well. So appreciate everybody hanging with us. Shout out to my guy T on the 1s and 2s, keeping it tight and right. We'll see you guys here back again tomorrow. Same time, same place, 6 p.m. Pub Sports Radio. Last call, baby.